You've waited all week to go jogging with a friend after work. A light rain is almost guaranteed the trail will be uncrowded. But evil preys on darkness, and rain will not prevent evil from doing bad things. Stop the Threat starts now. Hello and welcome to Stop the Threat. My name is James Toll. On today's episode, we're taking you to the show-me state of Missouri for a late night exercise that may make your blood boil. We call this one Night Joggers. But let me introduce you to this week's panel. Jeffrey Phipps. Jeffrey is a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. He's also a 29-year veteran firefighter, and he's on the show because of his 911 operator experience and sharing that with us. Mike Hurd. Mike has been in law enforcement since 1976. Mike is also a firearms instructor. Jorge Luis De Leon. Jorge is a former police officer, and he now lives in San Antonio, Texas, where he is a CHL NRA certified instructor. Welcome all.
Thank you.
I have an email, and since I've got ex-cops and gun instructors here, I thought I'd pick this email out. This person is actually asking me if I go down and I take gun instructions from someone, are the instructors teaching me things I can use with street crimes that you reenact on the show? So in other words, when they come in and they want to learn how to use a handgun, is somewhere in that curriculum, are you preparing them for something more than shooting a static target? Jorge.
In my case, my CHL class is CHL class, my basic class is basic class. You want to learn how to do that, you take one of my advanced class.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
Sure, that's a good answer. Yeah. And I think, is that pretty unanimous?
Yes. At Bullseye Enterprises, where I teach handguns as well, the basic concealed carry permit class is what the state laws require, and it's more about what the state needs you to know to get your permit. If you want to learn the tactics that go with that, we're working on a curriculum called So You Have a CWP, What Now?
Okay,
which
good.
takes you through the different tactics and different strategies that you would need.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mike?
Jorge can confirm this. We don't have enough time in our course in Texas to teach any kind of proper firearms class. We just don't have the time for it. They restrict us on that.
Okay.
So it's good to take another class as well.
All right, then let me ask you this. Is there a difference between what you teach in Texas and what you teach in South Carolina?
Probably not.
Your basic classes you believe to be the same?
The basic classes are what are the state laws here in Texas for these guys, back in South Carolina for us.
Yeah, I agree. From state to state, it's a little bit different, but I think the foundation is the same.
If I take a advanced class from you, and I know you didn't ask this question, but I'm going to help you with this one. Will you teach me gun retention in your class?
I do in my classes because we're on the cusp of open carry here in Texas, and that's going to be a really big issue. Yeah. People make a big issue about having level 2 and 3 holsters and stuff, but really it's not as practical as you think it is. It's incumbent upon the person carrying the gun to be able to retain that gun.
Right.
Not to walk around.
I got to stop you, Mike.
Absolutely.
I got to stop you. We come back, though, we'll let Mike finish. Don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. We've been talking about some of the differences and some of the things that are taught and not taught, and I've kind of put them on the spot and asked them about gun retention. Before I show you part one, I want to ask just a couple of more. How about gun storage or gun placement within your home? Is that brought up in an advanced class?
That would be part of a home assessment that an expert would have to do for you.
Well, here in Texas, he's part of the CHL class.
It is part of the CHL.
Yeah, he's part of the CHL class or Consejo Handgun License class. I test for the proper storage, use, and everything for the handgun, and including the ammunition.
Okay, and I think those classes are changing though, because when I took mine, that never came up.
Oh, they
so
changed.
This must be evolving in Texas. Okay?
It's changing in time, it's changing in topics, but that is included.
You usually get that on the making the firearm accessible to a child part.
Yeah,
And
okay,
your
good.
instructor may not have been as forceful on that as he should have been. If he did mention it, he kind of cheated you a little bit.
Let's watch part 1 of Night Joggers.
No, we'll see about that.
Not doing too bad tonight. Want to up the pace?
Try and keep up, old man.
Check it out. Stole it out of a car today.
Let me see. Hey, let's break it in. Go stick up somebody.
Stick up somebody like, out here at night? Who's out here?
People exercising, man. They got phones, MP3s. That's big money.
Plus, car keys.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I saw a guy and a girl run by here earlier. They got to loop back around to get back to their car, so.
All right, here's the plan. I'll go cut across the park. When they come around, you guys keep your hands in your pockets like this. I think y'all packing, and then I'll keep this right in their face. They won't know what to do. Got it?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's do this.
Let's go somewhere to wait. Right here. Come on.
No!
Old man, huh?
Your legs are longer.
Keep telling yourself that, kid.
You brought water, right?
I did not bring any water.
You did not bring any water.
This is a public park. There's got to be a water fountain in there somewhere.
Yeah, you think so.
I don't know.
You feeling okay?
I don't know. There's just something really off about him. It's probably nothing. Let's get going before we rested too long.
All right.
Here they come. They look easy. Let's do this.
All right, boys. Moment of truth.
Oh my God!
Stop right there. Give me your phone and your keys.
Okay, this is one of those crimes that really does make my blood boil. I mean, this is you get two innocent citizens out there in the evening. They're enjoying what they're doing. They're exercising. It's a beautiful night. It's a public park. It's as lit as it could be. Yeah. And these three guys show up out of nowhere. Start me.
They show up out of nowhere. One guy was a little bit reluctant, I think, on first. At first, he was one of the bad guys was. But then he just went ahead and came right on board with the plan. And then when they stopped at the bench, the guy noticed the threat right there. And he paid attention to that. The girl didn't, but he did. And he even readjusted his gun. He said, there's something wrong with that guy, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I think there might have been a better holster situation for that.
I agree with that.
And maybe we don't have that right. But I think I would jump in here and I would say one thing. If you feel uncomfortable, day, night, wherever you are, about someone, put some distance between you. I'm just going to throw that in, and then I'm going to go to you, Jeff. Go ahead.
I know there's a large problem in the area where I live and where I work with people having their firearms stolen out of the car because it's legal to keep a loaded gun in the car. But it's incumbent upon the owner to secure that firearm when they're not going to be with it. The jogger, as Mike said, there's something wrong with that guy, and he said something to the girl. So it was good awareness of what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely like that. You know, I noticed he was paying attention to his surroundings. He noticed he didn't feel comfortable, so he adjusted that gun. My question will be, you know, when you go do stuff like that, you should have the necessary equipment to have everything ready. That adjustment, it might be just a detail or whatever, but I like what happened. He was ready, and you know, like you said, create as much distance as you can if you feel uncomfortable for something.
Right. And I think that's a real important issue. And I think all of us get that feeling from now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're all probably more accustomed to that feeling. But even you folks at home, I can think of times when I've come out of a restaurant and felt uncomfortable walking into the parking lot. And when I felt that way, I stop and I kind of check my surroundings and see, why am I feeling that way? There's no reason to continue doing something if you're not comfortable with it. Just stop, take an analysis of what's going on around you, and
Trust your
what do you
instinct.
think?
I've been in law enforcement a long time, and I think that Jorge would agree that there is a sixth sense with certain people.
Yeah.
We feel certain things. I'm sure the firefighters are the same way. And when you feel that hair on the back of your neck, you ought to be looking away for a way to get out of there. You know, I also agree with you. They should have broken and left the park. I think that would have that fight it should have never happened.
Right. We come back, I'm going to show you part 2 of Night Joggers. Don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. We've just watched 2 people jogging through the park, having a wonderful time together, and a warning flag went up to the man when he saw the hooded person walking by them. Now, we don't have information that they made eye contact. We don't have information that they didn't make eye contact. But what we do know is that he felt uncomfortable about that fact. Let's watch part 2.
Stop right there.
Oh my God!
Give me your phone and your keys. Hand over your keys and your phones. Do you want to get shot? Hurry up, don't let me shoot you. Run! Don't shoot her! I'm not armed!
Yeah, three men just tried to rob my friend and I at gunpoint. I shot them. Yeah, send the paramedics and the police.
Hey, are you okay? I just called 911. I told them where we are.
Yeah, that's my friend. Yeah, we're both wearing black sweatpants. She's in a brown sweatshirt, and I'm in a gray sweatshirt. And I'm armed. Yeah, 2 of the men are wounded. Yeah, so tell the ambulance to hurry.
Okay, first, viewers, I'm going to say, I'm going to make this one remark. I'm very proud of that guy.
Yeah.
I am too.
I am very proud.
Guy's
I hope
great.
that every situation that we unfortunately may find ourselves in, that we react that well. The only negative I have is I don't know where the bad guy's gun is. But other than that, I thought everything he did there was, pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Start me.
I agree totally, 100%. You know, the way that he reacted, the way he kept calm, the instruction that he gave the lady, run. And not only that, when he calls 911, all the descriptions, all the details, what I'm wearing, what she's wearing. I mean, perfect scenario.
Okay, 911.
He led with the crime, he led with his actions, and he mentioned, hey, 2 of them are injured, send the paramedics. So that shows later down the road that he didn't want to kill these guys. He may have been forced into shooting them, and he was concerned for their well-being now that he's injured at least 2 of them.
Okay.
I like it too. The only thing I would like better was if she were also armed and trained, and they could have team tactics working together.
Yeah.
Because 2 is 1.
Yeah.
Type
2
of
is
thing.
better than 1, and that would be perfect. Let me ask you this question. Just to stretch this out a little bit for the remote possibilities. He fires, the bandits are now leaving, and he continues shooting at them as they leave. So we've got, basically you're shooting people in the back. I'm going to get people who are going to ask me, what do you think?
Well, he was under an immediate threat right there. We didn't know, and he didn't know, if those other fellows were armed. And this is something that happened in less than 2 seconds. I think he could have justifiably shot that guy even though he was running, because it was very close, very close. Now there's a fine line between that, being too close and under direct threat and when you're not. So, and of course he could be suffering time compression. He could be some guys say they're shooting through a soda straw. It could be that way. So unless we're absolutely in their minds, we don't know what they're thinking.
Okay, anybody want a part of that?
One of the things that I tell my students when they're taking the class is what the law says you shoot to stop the threat, right? The threat might not be the gun, it's the person or the assailant manipulating that gun. So you shoot to stop.
If he felt in danger when they turned, keep shooting until they're no longer a threat to you.
Yeah,
He is
I don't
stopping
feel
the
like
threat.
there's any legal issues here.
No.
I'm just because I know I'm going to get emails about the fact that he shot him in the back and that kind of a thing. I think one of the things I would like positively to point out is that he bladed towards, and when I mean that, folks, I mean he turned his shoulder towards the bad guy and motioned as though he were going for his billfold and came out without any hesitation whatsoever and started letting out rounds. So, geez, like I said, it's really hard for me to find anything wrong with what he did other than the fact that I kind of lost sight of that bad guy's gun.
A lot of people think that you have to give up when they pull the gun on you, but you have to wait. They have to wait long enough to see if you're going to obey them, and you have lots of time to do things. There's no trick to beating the drop once you've decided you're going to.
Yeah, and he was moving and shooting. Everybody notice that?
Yeah.
He wasn't standing static. I like the fact that he pushed the woman off and that she kept going and wherever she went. And I would also say that if you're the second person, if you happen to be the female or the second unarmed person, keep moving away, and there's no reason for you to return unless you be sure that the good guy won. So,
I agree.
And somebody that's trained in the way he handled that gun, we call it a full homie. When he holds the gun like that, that guy is not an experienced person. You can tell by that.
got
He was
just
a
few seconds.
well-trained jogger. He was a well-trained.
He's a well-trained jogger, and he armed himself to go jogging. Which I don't know that everybody out there does that. I know there's a concealed problem in there, but there really isn't. If you have the proper clothing, there's lots of ways to do that. When we come back, though, we'll wrap this up for you, and we'll leave you with a few tips. Don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. Just off camera, we had made some remarks that I think are really important here. So I'm going to take some time. Take me through that again.
When the jogger drew his sidearm, he created lateral space between he and the gunman. And you notice that as soon as he showed his gun, the other guy shot. But when he shot where the guy had been standing. When you draw, you have to move. Right. Create space.
Right. I like that. Jorge, you like that?
I know. We were talking about that in training, and that comes with the training. That's what saved his life. If he would have just shoot and stay there, he probably would have been injured or killed. But he did it right.
Okay.
A lot of people, when they go to train, they go to ranges on bright sunny days and stand at the position of attention and shoot at targets that never move at them. And for being in a real gunfight before, I can tell you that if you're standing still, you're getting hit. Yeah. So that it almost was like that guy had a little bit of experience in the fight.
Right. And the great thing about videos like this, we're able to say what he did right, and we're sharing the knowledge, so it's not being wasted.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And the reason why we have the show, as you all well know, is that we want to mentally prepare you for something that never happens in your life. But I think this was an excellent example of being out in the public, being at night in the public, thinking that you're relatively safe and you're trying to enjoy the evening. So like I said, I'm really happy with everything the fella did. And what do you think? You're happy?
I think if your idea of running at night is your enjoyment, we got to talk about it.
Well, maybe he's got a day job. The only time he has to spend with his significant other is in the evening. But there's still a good awareness of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And they were out there alone, so you could see some apprehension on the man's part, because he did kind of, to use the expression, kind of knocked off the hoodie a little bit and thought, could be something wrong here. I don't think he thought about protecting himself, obviously, because he did shift his weapon. But all in all,
people should train and practice, right? And train as real as possible. If you're gonna go jogging, then prepare yourself for how you go jogging, and that's how you're gonna train in the range, or how do you carry the gun. It's like Mike was saying, just shooting from here to the piece of paper, it could be a sniper with a handgun, but it's not realistic. You don't walk with a gun like that. So train as real as possible.
okay, yeah, I like that.
Plan your work your plan. Make it work for you.
Okay, so when leaving his vehicle, he took his weapon with him. So whether or not he had a proper holster, we're not actually sure of that. But I'm going to assume that if you're jogging, you're not sticking it in the waistband. So so obviously he had some way of doing it. There's plenty of clothing out there for whatever sport you're involved in. I have some. There's T-shirts that you can stick guns in. So there's no reason why you can't protect yourself in any given situation. Now, this does lead to a lot of social media comments, and I suggest that if you have some or would like to address some to any of the guests that we have, I'll pass that on. But let's talk about it a little bit because I think there's a lot of things that we're leaving on the table here. But I got to run. I'll see you again next week. Be safe, be trained, be alert.